Episode 6, Part 3, Scale Factor Subtraction. Now I know that scale factor subtraction sounds like something really like out of a science fiction movie, but basically the key concept is that if you were given two objects that are touching, say for instance object A and object B, then object A can be subtracted from object B, leaving an object A shaped hole inside of object B. So the idea here is that we're going to basically take the wheels away from the toy and we'll leave a wheel-shaped hole. Our idea is that if we make a slightly bigger wheel and subtract it from our main toy shape, then it will leave a gap for our actual wheel to sit inside, but not touch the main toy shape, which will leave it free to spin. Our scale factor is the size of the bigger wheel, which is adjusted by this thing called the scale factor. This has been determined by extensive experimentation. That is, I printed out lots of toys with lots of different scale factors and came up with what was the best. The scale factor for us this year is 1.15. That is, the subtracting wheel is 15% larger than the actual wheel, but only in two of the three dimensions. You don't make it 15% wider, you just make it fatter and taller. So here I am back in Onshape, and I'm going to right click on my toy part 2 to copy that workspace and make that toy part 3 and press OK. That's going to open up this document, load the workspace, and there is my duck with the wheels that are sort of stuck inside it. They don't look right yet. They don't look like they're sticking out at all. So basically we need to set this up to be perfect for us. So a few things. Let's go to right view now. Zoom in a little bit, and I'm going to rename my duck. Part 3 should be duck, and I'm going to turn my duck off. I'm going to hide the duck so I can't see the duck. I'm now going to use the transform tool, and we've done this before. I'm going to click on this wheel over here. I'm going to translate it by X, Y, and Z, and I'm just going to drag it over here a certain number of units, let's just say minus 35 to keep it consistent, and I'm going to copy the part and I'll press tick. So now I have 3 wheels. Part 4, I'm going to rename my, I'll call it my scale up wheel, because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to scale it up. That way I won't get confused with my other wheels. So my scale up wheel is there, and I'm going to now scale it up. It's the same tool, the transform tool, but we're going to click on our object and then we're going to translate it by scale. We're now, no, hang on, I missed a step. Let's go back. I'm going to kill that. We're not going to do transform yet. We're going to create a sketch on this particular wheel here. We're just going to use a circle. I'm going to move till we've got the square in the middle, and we're just going to draw a small circle. Done. Doesn't have to be any size. And I'm going to press tick. Now I'm going to go back to transforming it. This one here. We're going to transform by scale. We're not going to scale uniformly, but first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on point or make connector, and I'm going to click on the midpoint of that circle. Vertex of sketch 1. That's sketch 1. So that vertex there is what it's going to scale from. And I'm going to scale over here. We're looking at the Z and the Y direction. If yours is different, I hope it's not, but if it is, then it'll be the X and the Y, or the X and the Z. Those are the two that you need to choose. So I'm going to choose the Z direction of 1.15, which is my scale factor, and my Y direction of 1.15, and you can see that that wheel's gone out of shape. It's actually bigger, 15% bigger in the Y direction, and now it's 15% bigger in the Z direction and the Y direction. So now I'm going to press tick. I now have a slightly bigger wheel. I'm going to transfer it back now. So I'm going to put it back, translate by line. No, I'm going to translate by XYZ. I'm going to translate this in the Y direction, and I'm going to go back 35. I'm going to move it back 35 and press enter. So now I've got my scaled up wheel over the top of one of my wheels. I'm going to hide my two wheels now, and I'm going to now press tick. I'm going to now do the same thing. Transfer this one here, scale the wheel up, transfer it by XYZ, move it 35 millimeters. I'm going to copy the part this time, and I'm going to have two slightly bigger wheels, and I'm going to turn my duck on. So I've got scale up wheel and part 5. Let's just rename that, and that'll be scale up wheel 2. Okay, so I've got two scaled up wheels and a duck. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a boolean, which is a strange way of saying joining things together. I'm going to do a subtraction boolean. The tools versus the target. The tools are going to be my two wheels, 1 and 2. The target is going to be the duck. The duck is the thing that's going to lose its part. So the wheels are going to be subtracted from the duck. I'm going to press tick, and now you'll see, oh, what happened there? Try that again. Did I keep the tools? Tools, 1 and 2. Targets, duck, don't keep the tools. Done. Oh, I must have done a button wrong. Maybe you can go back and figure out what I did wrong and tell me later. So now I've got my duck, and you can see that it's got subtracted wheels that are strange, sort of sticking out there. But what happens when you turn these wheels back on is that they're cleared around. So when that 3D prints, there will be 3 separate parts that are locked in together. Now that you've finished, you should be able to print out your toy as is, and it will work. But we need to add some decorations to make our toy a bit more unique and a bit more realistic. So what we need to do now, though, is go into our process journal and basically fill out the section on how you performed the scale factor subtraction. You don't have to tell me how you did it, but you have to tell me whether or not you understood the concept and how well you think you did it. Or if you didn't understand the concept, that's okay as well, because as long as you did it, that's fine.